What is up, everybody? Going to be answering some fantasy football questions here. We got a Q&A going on, and yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be really fun. I'm going to answer some questions, and again, we're going on all platforms of mine right now besides Instagram. So YouTube, X, and TikTok. Very, very thankful for all your guys' support. Be answering any questions that you guys have, any video requests. If you guys think there's a certain video that needs to be analyzed and discussed, hey, yo, what's up, bro? And any start suggestions for week 3. Obviously, if you guys haven't seen it already, I have my waiver wire video out. I have my RB rankings out 1 through 12, 12 through 35, or 12 through 40, rather, will be posted on the subscriber channel and on Discord later in the week. We got a question here, though, from TikTok. Trade Nico Collins and Amarian Hampton for Gibbs or Achane? No, I would keep Nico. Nico Collins is a buy low guy. I mean, he got 3 red zone targets in a row. He caught a touchdown. I would keep him. I'm not saying that it's going to be smooth sailing because that line is abysmal, and I think we all know that. But at the end of the day, it's still Nico Collins that you're giving up. And Hampton, you'd be selling at an extreme low. Now, I know he's not good right now. But remember, we're playing for championships long term. Can Hampton get out of the doghouse? Can he play good football? I mean, he has a lot of better football in him. There's no doubt about it. Even if he's not as good as we think, I would hold Amarian because you're not going to. He's dirt cheap right now. I mean, if you don't have him, I would go trade for him because Najee Harris, we know what Najee Harris is. And even if Najee gets more carries next week, we're worried about week 12, week 13, week 14, right? When we're in the fantasy playoffs. And I think by that point, Amarian Hampton will be good. Truly. But I posted a video on Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, a couple of the guys people are worried about. I can make one on BTJ. I know I got that request as well. Definitely could make that one on what to do with him because he's a little more concerning, less concerning than AJ Brown, but more concerning than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Hampton, in my opinion. I think he's more concerning just simply because he's a first round pick. Hampton, you probably took round 3 or 4, which is, in retrospect, not great. But again, it's a long season. We can't be freaking out after 2 weeks. I would keep Genty as well. That's another thing. You got to hold these rookies because you'd be selling at a low. It's like the stock market, right? I'd rather take the risk if it going even lower with the possibility of upside for a huge game and then trade him or hold him, when he has a big game. That's what I'm always thinking about when it's that type of running. And remember, Bucky Irving wasn't reliable in fantasy until week 5 last year or week 6. It took time. I'm not saying that Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, or Marion Hampton, or Ashton Genty are going to be as productive as Bucky's second half. But there's a possibility, and you don't want to sell it a low in fantasy football at all, really. King Henry and Emeka for Bucky and Zay Flowers. I would keep King Henry and Emeka. Emeka's the real deal. Jonathan Taylor for Malik Neighbors. I mean, if you have depth at running back, I would do it for sure. I think Neighbors is the best overall fantasy player besides Bijan. Taylor's obviously been great. There's no doubt about that. But if you have depth at running back, you need a receiver. That's a fair trade. I would trade Jamar Chase for Malik Neighbors. I had Malik Neighbors rated higher than Jamar to start with, but especially now without Burrow, I have him ranked higher. That's not to say Jamar is going to fall off a cliff with his production. Like, he's still going to be great. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he put up, 36 points with Jake Browning. Again, it'll fluctuate. It's not going to be as smooth sailing as it was with Burrow, but Jake Browning's a dog. He's pretty good. Genty for Henry. Yeah, I mean, I would do that just because I like Baltimore's line more and Henry has experience, but I do think Genty's going to play way better. A lot of it is not Genty's fault. They're behind in these games. They're forced to pass. They can't. He had a couple of good runs yesterday, and so did Amarion until the fumble, Again, that goal line stand didn't help for Amarion owners as well. Start Sutton or Wandale this week. Probably Wandale. Troy Franklin's the guy in Denver right now. Make sure you guys pick up Troy Franklin. Like that this is like, I'm not going to say it's Puka Nacua level pickup of the year or Bucky Irving-esque, but if I had to find the closest to for what we've seen so far this season, I think Troy Franklin has superstar upside. And I said it coming out of Oregon, and I was actually wrong. I told everyone to draft him at the end of their draft. So it wasn't like a huge miss in the sense like I told you to draft him early, but I told you to draft him at the end of last year's draft. And He was in the doghouse. We've seen that a lot with rookie receivers in coaches, right? Like Kyle Shanahan had Brandon Ayuk in the doghouse for his first year, right? He got out, he played great in his second year and his third year, right? Or it might have been his second year that he was in the doghouse. But regardless, it takes time sometimes with these receivers. We knew Franklin would build on that rapport that he had with Bo Nix at Oregon. They obviously trust each other, and Franklin's just a star. I don't know how he felt around 4. I had a first round grade on him coming out of Oregon. He was the first pick around 4, so what could you get for Kyron? Well, he shouldn't have drafted Kyron, but I mean, again, in retrospect, it's probably a better pick than taking Hampton. So I can't say that that was a bad pick because I took Hampton in a league in round at the end of round 3, and that was probably a bad decision. We can be honest with ourselves on that. Again, it's early. I think there's a lot of concern for Kyron Williams, not in terms of like snap share, like he's going to get snaps. His production, he hasn't ever really been a star in that sense. He plays in a really good offense, benefits from Sean McVay's schemes. He does fumble a lot. Blake Corum does get a fair share of red zone snaps. However, I'm not as in on Blake Corum picking up in fantasy because Blake Corum got a red zone snap when they were up like 25 to 19, 14 or 30 to 19 or whatever it was, right? Like that's when he scored the touchdown. Kyron scores that touchdown earlier on in the game. I'm not as worried about that. But I mean, I would trade him for see if you can get him. I mean, if you need receiver help at this point, I would trade Kyron Williams for Tetairoa McMillan. At this point, I think McMillan, someone I was high on and I was right on. I've missed on a few of the rookies so far, but again, it's like I've been right on McMillan. I've been right on Igbuka. Jaden Higgins really hasn't got going, but that's really not his fault. RJ Harvey, Trevion, Omarion might take some time. I don't have Genty in any league, so again, I'll answer all these questions. I know we got a bunch, but make sure you're following me here on TikTok because I'm producing all these videos throughout the week, helping you guys win your leagues, winning each week, RB rankings, all that stuff. Buy or hold, buy, sell videos coming out this week as well. And yeah, make sure to sub to my YouTube and follow me on X too. I have some good written content. I put up this, I wish I could take a picture of it, but I have this thread on X about Drake London I posted today that I really like. And I think you guys would like it as well. Let me see if I can screenshot that. Share screen. There we go. Yeah. So this is the buy low alert. And I have a really, really good thread on this. And I think you guys would like this a lot. So make sure you're following me for more written content like that on X as well. But I'll keep answering these questions. Picking or Genty at flex. I think you got to roll with Genty. Washington's run defense is not good. They haven't been good. This has been a team that was super easy to fade this year. And Debo has surprisingly played great. But this is not a good football team by any means. And Jane Daniels is going to be out multiple weeks. So I think the Raiders could actually be ahead in this game, and that would mean they're going to run more and more throughout this game. But yeah, make sure you're following there on X as well. Got a lot of written content there. Going to come out with more. I just started this new account. My old account got banned for bullshit, but make sure you're following there. Make sure you're following on TikTok here as well, and YouTube coming out with some long form content as well. And this will be up if you miss anything from this live on YouTube right after. And if you're watching from YouTube, you can also make sure to follow me on TikTok. There we go. We got a few questions from YouTube, then I'll get back to the questions on TikTok. Traded AJ Brown for Devontae and Pitts. I like it. AJ Brown's not going to be good the rest of the year. And I tried to say I was fading most of the Eagles offensive players, and it's not even really their fault. It's just the passing game is non-existent. Their trench play is so elite, though, that they just can run the entire game. So you look to sell high on Josh Jacobs, worried that he's touchdown reliant. It depends what you get. Like, I would trade him for a Bucky Irving in PPR leagues. I would trade him for Malik Neighbors. See if you can trade Jacobs and somebody else for a Malik or Puka Nacua if you need a wide receiver. Start 2 wide receivers, Sutton, Pickens, Terry Pearsall. Down bad, but I would go, this sounds batshit crazy, but I would go George Pickens and Ricky Pearsall. Panic on Genty? I don't think so, dog. I think it takes time. Remember, it's week 2. Now, again, if you're 0-2, it sucks, and I get it. Like, it happens to the best of us, right? Like, brutal matchups. I mean, I lost the matchup. I posted a video about it because Amari and Hampton couldn't get 4 fantasy points. I needed 4. He got 3.5. I lost by 0.5 in one league. Is that my fault? No. I mean, it's like shit happens, but we're playing for the long game, right? We're playing for championships And you can be 0-2 if you guys are 0-2 and still win a championship. I was 0-5 one year. This was 3 years ago. I was 0-5 in my big money league, my main league. This is a crazy story. I went on a 10-game win streak and won the league, or 11-game win streak and won the league. My guys just had to get healthy. I had a lot of rookies, and this is to say, like, don't be selling low on these rookies. There is a lot of upside still for RJ Harvey, for Trevion Henderson, for Ashton Jeanty as we go on in the season. Now, I'm not saying they're lock it in reliable right now, but we got to play the long game. If you can stay afloat and stay in that consistent, maybe get a win here and there, you're 4-4 going into week 8 or 9. I mean, that would be ideal, because then you can get those guys. They'd probably be money down the stretch, similar to Bucky Irving last year, similar to other guys. Ryder says start 2 wide receivers: McConkey, Tedro McMillan, Igbuka, BTJ. Okay. I don't need to read anymore. I would start Igbuka and McMillan. Yeah. Yeah, I like your 2 running backs. I think Chase Brown is a hold. If anybody has any questions about Chase Brown. Oh, you just had Burrow go down, James Cook for Herbert and ETN. That's honestly a great trade. I mean, that's all around. Like, I love James Cook, but unless you have Josh Allen, I kind of like that running back quarterback stack, even though we consider stacks typically wide receiver quarterback. I like that stack a lot. But ETN's a star. Just make sure you have Tootin on your team as well, because Tootin is going to be involved in this offense. But ETN is still able to do that. And Herbert has been awesome, an MVP candidate so far, especially if you have somebody in that offense, like Lad McConkey or QJ or somebody like that. Help, please. Week 3, Ertz or Njoku? Ertz. Njoku, he's dealing with the targets with Harold Fannin. Ertz just seems like the security blanket for Jane Daniels. Now, again, they could have Mariota in there, so we don't really know their rapport that much. Asher says Jamar Chase for Nico Collins and Chase Brown. I like that trade a lot, especially if you need a running back and a good wide receiver. Like, I think Jamar Chase and Nico's value are closer than people think. Like, Nico got so many red zone targets. He's literally the whole offense. The line will not continue to play that bad. It will improve. I love Arante Ursary. He will get better. Oh, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Well, McMillan, Igbuka, and Tyreek, I would say. I think Tyreek's going to ball out this week. But yeah, I think Nico's going to end up being, if you can go out and trade for Nico Collins, go do it. I mean, he got 6 red zone targets, 3 in a row at one point, caught a touchdown. I mean, their line is not going to play like that the entire year. Bill and Pearsall for Jeanty. I mean, that's a great deal, dude. That's a lot to give up, but like, if you're not playing Bill or Pearsall anyways, then that's a good deal. I think you're winning your league, because Jeanty's going to be good long-term this season, right? He'll have a few big games, a few bad games, like we saw yesterday when he was completely out of the game script because they were passing the football, right? The entire time because they were down. But if you're not, I mean, Pearsall, I love, and you guys know I love Ricky Pearsall. I was in on him before. I told everyone to draft him. He's got a great start over the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. And maybe he's a great start all year, but Ayuk will come back at some point. George Kittle is going to come back at some point, right? Jennings has already come back and stole a touchdown from him in a few targets last weekend, and he was even dealing with an injury. So, I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat, especially if you're not playing either of those guys. Trade bait for Derrick Henry. I would try and trade for Derrick Henry. But this is what Henry does, y'all. Like, he'll have a 35 fantasy point game, and then all of a sudden he'll have a 5 fantasy point game. He's been doing this for years. It was more prevalent in Tennessee, less inconsistency in Baltimore, certainly last year. But there are so many times that Derrick Henry will put up a dud perform. I mean, you got to understand, like, too, like, they have so many guys and so many weapons on that team. Like, if Henry is stopped a few times and Lamar has to take over, Lamar has become one of the best pocket passers of the last decade, which is crazy to say because people were like, he can't stay in the pocket. He's a run first guy, which he was for a while, but his development as a quarterback is truly astonishing. Like, one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league, like, in hardest work. I mean, to become that good, because you kind of need to be a pocket passer in today's NFL. You can't just be look at Justin Fields, all the talent in the world. Who gives a fuck? Like, he's still kind of good, but yeah, when he tries to be a pocket passer, he's good. When he tries to run first every time, he's going to get killed. Like, he's not going to be able to process defenses. And that was what was happening with the Bears for a while. Caleb needs to stop extending plays and scrambling. Just stay in it and throw the ball the fuck away if it's not your first or second read. That's the big problem in Chicago. It doesn't matter how much talent Caleb has. You got to kind of play like Jared Goff a little bit in the sense in that Ben Johnson system. First read, second read, no, throw that bitch away. Don't just throw it to the defense for no reason. K9 and Drake May for ETN and Mooney. I love that trade, especially if you have a backup quarterback. ETN, I think is better than K9 long term. I like both. K9, it's a weird concept because he had 35% snap percentage. Obviously outplayed Charbonnet this week, but week 1 was horrible. And he's always injured. So, like, to me, if Kenneth Walker stays healthy, I'll eat my words for the entire year, but I just don't know. I don't think he's going to stay healthy. And Charbonnet is a dog. He just had one bad game. And Kenneth Walker obviously has more burst than Charbonnet. Charbonnet is a through the tackles runner. The Steelers were bad at tackling in space and have been so far this season good at stopping running up the middle. Trey Jennings for Harvey in PPR League. Jawan Jennings for RJ Harvey. I like that, actually. I think Harvey's still going to be good long term. Like, people expect Dobbins to play a full healthy season. It's not going to happen. First off. Second off, I know he was horrible last week. Better the week before when he ran for 50 yards. But RJ Harvey's really good, and I think you'd be buying at a low. I think it's smart. Jennings, if he's on your bench, you're not playing him anyways. And remember, Jennings is great, but Jennings also has Ricky Pearsall. He has Brandon Ayuk coming back in a few weeks, right? George Kittle coming back in a few weeks. There's so many mouths to feed. Christian McCaffrey. I mean, Luke Farrell's good. The Niners have so many good players on offense, right? I think that Jawan Jennings for RJ Harvey is an extremely fair trade at this point. Who should you start? Pearsall, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Ridley. I would start Ricky, Slick Rick this week. Honestly, I hate Arizona's secondary now that they're all beat up. I think Mac Jones is obviously targeted Juwan a few more times than Ricky, but it's not like Ricky had a bad game. I think he had 4 or 5 catches for 60 yards last week. He's averaging like 20 yards a catch. So he just needs that touchdown. It hasn't happened yet, but he's been really good this season. Trade AK and Ibuka for Gibbs. No, that's way the fuck too much. By the way, if you want to trade Alvin Kamara, you got to do it after this week because he's going to go nuclear against the Seattle Seahawks. He's going to go crazy. I mean, he caught like 6 passes against the Niners. I mean, they're going to be down. He's going to catch like 6 passes against the Seahawks too. Trade Ibuka for BTJ? No, fuck that. I'd keep Ibuka at all costs at this point. Ibuka is a better play on a week-to-week basis. Right now, what's up? What's up? I'm on a live. You okay? Okay. What's up? What's up? I'm back, y'all. Sorry about that. I'm back. Can everybody see me? Let's see. So strange. I don't know why it just all of a sudden stopped. Anyways, let's see. I'm gonna hop back on the stream, y'all. We back? All right, we're back. Let's see. You guys, yeah, there we go. We're back. All right. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties. Let me get back to answering these questions. Diggs or Olave? I would go Olave. Would you trade Kyron for Rice and Mason? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. Rashee Rice is a buy low guy, by the way, right now. Like, Rashee Rice is going to be so good in a few weeks. What should you do to keep Dalton Schultz? Should you keep Dalton Schultz, Andrews, or Njoku? Keep Njoku. You can drop the other two. Trade Travis Hunter and Waddle for Kraft. I mean, if you're not playing Travis Hunter and Waddle and Kraft is so elite, like, I would make that trade if you're not playing him. Again, you got to think about like trades as wins would be like if you have a one flex league. Like, I have this problem right now. I have too many good receivers, not enough running backs. I don't want to trade Drake London. I'm not trading Malik Neighbors. I'm absolutely not trading Tedero McMillan. Yet, right? Like, we have to think about this. My running backs suck. So I may have to give up more than I should in a trade so that my starting lineup can be good, right? That's what we got to think about in this position. But I wouldn't freak out. Again, it's week 2. I wouldn't freak out on a lot of guys. Like, Amarian Hampton is going to play better. Now, it sucks right now being an Amarian Hampton owner myself in fantasy football. and a Trevion Henderson owner in one league and an RJ Harvey owner in the league I have Hampton, which sucks, right? But we're playing the long game. Like there are fill-in guys that you can go into. And fantasy football is weird. Like look at last year, who was the RB1 and who was the wide receiver 1 after 2 weeks, versus now, versus how they ended the year. Like you really think J.K. Dobbins gonna be putting up 15 fantasy points the whole year with no ACLs? Like come on, you know what I mean? Is Omarion Hampton and Cooper Kupp for? Who is that for? Nico Collins a good trade? Yeah, I mean Nico's a superstar. I would try and get him right now as we speak. Like that dude's an absolute baller. Cortland Sutton and Bucky Irving for Breece Hall and BTJ. That's an even trade, but I'd keep Bucky Irving. I haven't seen enough from BTJ yet, even though he's a buy low candidate, to be confident about that. Cortland, I mean, yeah, that's a good. I would do the trade actually. Breece Hall's just way better than Cortland Sutton in that sense. I think that's what you got to look at. Should you pick up Scatterbo or Judkins? I like Judkins a little more. I don't think Scatterbo is a good matchup this week. But yeah, start Hampton or Bill. You kind of have to start Bill this week. Hampton's just a no-go. And watch, now that I say that, Hampton will have a great game. But no, I can't start Omarion Hampton anymore. I can't do it. I just can't. Let's see. Start Pollard or Hampton. I would start Pollard. Start Hawkinson or Kincaid. You got to start Hawk. I would start Mason. Yeah, he's going to break out this week. Troy Franklin or Pearsall. I think you got to start. I would start both, but I'd lean Troy Franklin. He's been absolutely cooking defenses. You traded Dak and Pickens for T. Higgins and Pearsall. Thoughts? I don't hate it. I like that trade, especially if you have another backup quarterback that's good. Bijan and Njoku for Ladd, James Cook, and Chase Brown. Oh, that was a different. Sorry, this freaking so many questions. It's going so quick. Bijan and Njoku for Ladd, James Cook, and Laporta. I'd keep Bijan at all costs. I wouldn't trade him for anything. You give me 7 good players, I'm not making that trade. Trade Juwan Johnson for Tucker Kraft. Someone's going to give you Tucker Kraft for Juwan Johnson. Absolutely do that trade. Thoughts on Hampton? I mean, he's going to play better. Again, you got to think about long-term what's going to happen, right? It's not about what's happening now. It's about what's going to happen when you're in the fantasy playoffs, because that's what we're all playing for now. Even if you're 0-2 right now, you can still get to 4-4. You could still get to 6-3. You know what I mean? You can go on a win streak. Like it's not over for anybody at this point, even if you have had bad luck. Worry about London? Absolutely not. He was coming off of a shoulder injury. Receivers tend to play bad when they're dealing with AC joint injuries and stuff like that. Like he played fine in week 1. I'm not worried at all. Tootin or Benson for running back? That is tough. I'd probably lean Bashal Tootin, but I like both. Diggs and Nix for Puka. Someone's going to trade you Puka Nacua for Diggs and Nix. That's insane. Absolutely do that. I want to play in that league. That's crazy. I can't believe someone would actually accept that deal. Trade CMC for Gibbs. No, I'd keep CMC at this point in PBR league specifically. Travis Etienne and who for who? Let's see. Travis Etienne and Tyreek for Nico. That's a little too much. Nico's good, but like Etienne's also a top 12 running back the rest of the year, and those are hard to find. I mean, you can find streamer wide receivers. You could literally pick up Troy Franklin tomorrow and be great the rest of the year at flex, which I advise doing. Olave, Devontae, or what was that last one? Or Hampton at the flex. I think you got to play Olave. DK and Mason for JT. I like that trade. I mean, I would wait till Mason has a good game this weekend and JT has a bad game, because JT's bound for a bad game at some point. Then that trade becomes a little easier. You might not have to give up as much. Adams or Kamara? I'd lean Kamara this week specifically. Do you trade Garrett Wilson or Sutton for Tootin? Or do you drop Garrett Wilson? No. Or Franklin or Olave? No. I wouldn't drop. I mean, that's tough. I'd probably drop Tootin for Franklin at that point. But Sutton, you kind of have to keep because of what he did last year. I mean, it's too early. It's 2 weeks in. You can't just give him up for nothing. Garrett Wilson, you absolutely do not drop. No way. Like, you can't drop him. Let's see. We have some more questions here. I can go for a few more minutes here, and then make sure you follow me on TikTok. You're following me on X, and sub into my YouTube. Got a lot of great content coming out, and you guys can DM me as well. Any questions you have, if you follow me, I'll respond. So I know I get a lot, but I'll get to all of them. And if you follow me, I do respond to DMs for all that. It's just I get so many that if you don't follow me, like I won't respond to your DM. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and it's like I appreciate the support and I'm willing to give advice based on that support. So I love all of you guys. I'm gonna hop off now. I'll be on tomorrow again. And let's win week 3. It's a big week for everybody.